¿A dónde está papi? 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 ¿A dónde está papi?
Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Tuesday stream. I hope everyone's having an awesome Tuesday. How's it going, everybody? Welcome, Echo Wrestle Dragon, Cosmic Seekin. Howdy, howdy, everybody. We've got a few things to go through today. Good to see you. Good to see you, too. It has been quite a day at work today. How's it going, everybody? So we've got a few headlines to go through. I'm feeling unhappy and confused, hoping you will make things better. Well, there's uncertainty about things. Please give us a laugh. I don't know. We can dunk on some folks. Okay. I mean, we could do some dunks. Thanks to Ravana, I saw a hilarious video from Tim Pool. I've been hearing about the Southern White Baptists trying to take over the U.S. What, like the Christian extremists? Yeah, that's like a thing. Although I have to warn you, this is going to be a little cringe. But if I had to listen to this, so do you, okay? It's going to be okay. Oh my god, Jesus. That blew out the remainder of my hearing. Thank you, Temple.
One legend.
All right. This is Tim Pool. Yeah. Yeah, that happened. That's a thing. It looks like Tim Pool must have Tim Pool must have some type of time machine to the 2000s. Is there a difference between Tim Pool and Deadpool? Yes, Deadpool is a band. Tim Pool is a political hack. That's the difference. Yeah, so if you had to experience that, then so did... if I had to experience that, then so can you. Did he just hire session musicians to back him? Probably. I don't know. I'm thinking Deadpool. No, isn't there isn't there a band? Drowning Pool. I'm sorry, not Deadpool. Drowning Pool. Damn, you gained quite a rap sheet. Republican versus Democrat. I don't know what that means. Democrat versus Republican? Like, are you asking the difference between them? I don't know what you're just making two words. You're just asking Republican versus Democrats. I don't know what that means. Yeah, Deadpool is the kid with the bamboo swords. No. Deadpool is the dude with the swords who's invincible essentially and who can break the fourth wall. The merc with the mouth. But yes, Drowning Pool is the one that I'm thinking. No, Drowning Pool is a band. Well, I guess you don't know anything about politics then. True! Why are you here? If that's what you think. I think my joke failed. Well, it went over my head. I'm sorry, buddy. How Sparks showed Lindell's movie. It was weird and pompous. Don't trust the machines. Also, if you let liberals do stuff, the devil takes over. True. But Lindell constantly does not make sense. Well, his point isn't to make sense. I don't even know if he's trying to make sense. I finding someone to talk political to. Well, those were words that you were using. So props on that. Those were definitely words that you were using. Alright, so now that we got the memes out of the way, tell him this is entertainment. This is entertainment. Are you not entertained? Yeah, now you showed that you don't know anything about politics, so yeah, I don't. So why are you here? And why are you still here? Anyways, for those of you that are walking in, and haven't seen this, okay? If you haven't seen Ravana's tweet, okay, and you were not exposed to this, okay? If you were not exposed to this, now you are. Yeah. Temple, everybody. Wondered if you wanted to know? Know about what? Huh? You just said I didn't have... that I didn't know anything about politics. Why are you here? You clearly have... you're clearly omniscient, so you know. By being here, this stream has been live a total of 23 minutes. So at maximum, you've been here 23 minutes, and you already know that I have no knowledge of politics. Why are you still here? You must be omniscient then. Why are you still here? I don't know anything about politics. Alright, now that we got this meme out of the way. So is Temple competing with Fred Dunst and their grunge round? Yeah, he seems to have a time machine somewhere in his little castle, and has transported himself back to the 2000s and resurrected the 2000s cringe era for rock. Listen, okay? I do have some guilty pleasures when it comes to the 2000 alternative and grunge rock era, but this is cringe. I wondered if you don't know, you would like to know about it. Once again, congrats on the words. They're definitely English words, but you don't make sense. So I'm not sure how you're supposed to teach me anything if you can't even get out a proper sentence. Use sentences. Well, I mean, he's using words, so that's usually step one in the creation of sentences. So we're on the right track. We're using words, and they're English. And look, he even used one punctuation, okay? So that we're taking steps. Maybe his next or maybe their next maybe their next sentence will actually have some type of structure to them. We'll see. We'll see if we can get there. It's a bot? No, it's not a bot. I don't think so. I don't think it's a bot. You're dealing with a bot who can't type English? No, they're not a bot. They're not a bot. They're a troll who has been banned for quite a few channels. So thanks for the answer. It would have better if you answered early. I would have saved time. Okay, well, there you go. That's a little better. Anyways, you'll be fine, buddy. Alright? One day you'll grow up. You'll be good. You'll be alright. No, this is just a troll. So, this is how you dispatch trolls with, you dispatch trolls like this with prejudice. Yeah, I know. Starting out early today. I mean, listen, somebody earlier said that they needed entertainment, so here we are. Somebody said they needed entertainment, okay? So here we are. Alright. For real, the last time. After the cringe, after the good memes. Let's go to our very principled journalist, Tim Pool.
On what's happening to this country is no secret. I think my view on what's happening to this country is no secret. I think we are increasingly entering civil war territory, and because of the way politics and news works, it's hard to know.
Oh, look, wow. Today, another Civil War video. Nice. Thanks, Tim.
Know exactly when that shot heard round the world will be. Perhaps we're in the Civil War. Perhaps it hasn't started yet. Perhaps this is the Bleeding Kansas phase. Perhaps it's pre-Bleeding Kansas phase, and we don't really know exactly what's going to happen. But Donald Trump has filed a lawsuit against the U.S. government, claims most Americans are distressed by shockingly aggressive search of former president's home. He's trying to stop the review of the...
That's actually, not entirely depicting the full picture of what's going on here. The majority of Americans actually do support, the probes into Donald Trump's criminality. So that's not the full story, my friend. Yikes. That's not the full story. This was 2 days ago, so Tim Pool absolutely had the knowledge, or had the ability to locate this knowledge. Majority of Americans want probes against Trump to go on. So it's not the full story. It is not the full story, despite what Tim tells you. Why does Tim Pool remind me of Shapiro? Because they're both grifters, but Tim Pool is, believe it or not, more of an idiot. Trump caused the Ukraine war? I don't think so. I don't think so. Putin caused
documents that were
the war. I mean, well, it's not as simplistic as that. It's not as simplistic as saying, like, Trump caused the war. I don't think Trump even had anything to do with it. Maybe Putin thought that he was going to win in 2020, so he felt more comfortable knowing that he had a sympathetic person, that aid to Ukraine would be less likely, or if there was aid to Ukraine, it wouldn't be as much. Maybe he counted on that. I don't know. But I don't think that Trump had any. I don't think that Trump had any fault per se. Putin made up his mind way before. Putin made up his mind way before, if you ask me.
Seized. Over on the left, in the establishment left, they're talking about how Donald Trump had...
There's a left, and then there's this establishment left. This makes absolutely no sense.
300 classified documents. On the right, they're saying Donald Trump has, let's just call it, very strong declassification powers. In fact, he is the guy who declassifies things.
Okay, but there's no proof that he did. There's zero proof that he declassified any of these documents. Furthermore, the statutes that are being under investigation have no bearing on whether or not they were classified or not. It's irrelevant. So again, you can try to juxtapose both sides, but no, one side is not living in reality, and one side is. We must debate that sometime. Trump was blackmailed by Putin with a photo of his trousers down. No, that's not the cause of the Ukrainian war. No, Putin has nationalistic Putin has nationalistic ambitions that go well before Trump. Even I would argue. I would argue Putin's ambitions was already there beforehand. The most that I'm willing to go, the most that I'm willing to say is that maybe, or I guess the most I'm willing to speculate is that a Donald Trump victory in 2020 would have, at least in Putin's mind, it would have been more likely that the U.S. would give less aid to Ukraine. They wouldn't have supported them as much. I mean, like, that's about as much as I could think. Trump was blowing smoke up Putin's fundament. I mean, Trump is very much in favor of authoritarianism. So yeah, he's buddies with authoritarians like Putin. So that doesn't surprise me. That's true, Maya. Where's the PP tape, Garland? I know Merrick Garland has it somewhere. Release the PP tape. That's what we all. That's really what we want to know. Okay. So, anyways, the framing that Tim Pool chooses to display here is just phenomenal. One side, which he calls the left and the establishment left, which doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Okay, never mind that. Says that there are over 300 documents, which is true. That was actually part of the investigation. That has paper trails. You can trace that. You can look that up. In terms of, like, that claim. The other side is saying Trump has this power to declassify. Okay, and did he? There's no evidence to suggest that. And second, the charges, or I guess not the charges, but the things that are being investigated right now, there are 3 statutes. None of them involve whether or not the documents in question are classified or declassified. It's a red herring. It's a distraction, a diversion, a pivot, whatever you want to call it.
The argument being, if the president of the United States needs to negotiate or discuss sensitive issues, he has to determine whether or not it is classified or not. Imagine a president negotiating with Vladimir Putin, but unable to negotiate on where our military would be leaving from. Sorry, Putin, I can't tell you where our troops are, but we will move them, trust me. That's not a really good negotiation, is it? But of course, the left says he didn't have the authority to take certain documents, and I think PolitiFact proves that wrong. So, of course, we're now seeing leaked letters. We're seeing the FBI raid the home of Donald Trump. We are seeing an unprecedented bifurcation of power in this country, which
It's not unprecedented. If you're doing some sketchy shit, okay? If you're doing some sketchy shit, which draws the attention of the FBI, and then the FBI begins an investigation, and then that investigation has enough probable cause to get a search warrant, and then that search warrant is legally executed. Yeah, dude. I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't do things that would draw the attention of the FBI. Okay? I'm not doing stuff that would put me on the crosshairs of the FBI. That's a you problem.
I believe will lead to a civil war. And to make matters worse,
and again, this framing of, like, so let me get this straight. There's potential violations of criminal. There's potential, violations of certain statutes here, and your response is to what? Let it slide because the criminals' supporters might get violent. What? So we're just supposed to, like, capitulate to, like, these terrorists? Because that's effectively what you are you're saying, right? Because if you're saying there's going to be a civil war over this, over what is due process, okay? Over what is due process. If you're going to threaten civil war over what is due process, then you're a terrorist, right? You're threatening violence because you want to impose your political positions on people, So Tim Pool says we should just capitulate to these terrorists because they're threatening civil war, so we can't touch them. Trump makes Nixon look better.
In this
Makes him look better, but overall, I mean, like, Nixon and Reagan have, without a shadow of a doubt, destroyed this country much more, I think. He's just the icing on the cake. Trump is the icing on the cake, okay? Trump is the culmination of all that. Trump is the culmination of all of that. I was in Edinburgh a few days ago and checked the Discord for how the strike is going. Yeah, I saw that there was a multiple strikes going on across the pond. Did you put that in the general? Oh, I see. Wow. Gee. It's the bin strikes though. It's nasty. Yeah, it's disgusting. Here's a sample, just a sample pic. If you guys want to see the rest, this is what's all over the city. It's just, yeah, it's just this, but all over. Wow. If you guys wanna take a gander at what's going on there. Just join the Discord and take a look.
This lawsuit, Donald Trump has listed himself as pro se. Now, many are pointing out this means he's representing himself. And as the saying goes, the man who represents himself has a fool for a client. I don't know if this will work out for Donald Trump. There are lawyers listed on this filing. Some have said that they just didn't file to enter.
And the entire legal system is all on strike? Wow. Yeah, so what Thinking Sabercat was saying the other day may pan out. There may be just a literal general strike across all of England. That is actually on the cusp if that's the case. Jeez. I wonder how much news articles we're going to see about that. The revolution won't be televised, folks. Can't have that. Can't have any examples. Can't get any ideas. Let's take a look at the world news. See if we got anything. The first headline, the US to announce another $3 billion to military aid to Ukraine. Nice. Russia, Ukraine. Europe facing its worst drought in 500 years. That's worth checking out. Ukraine. Something about the Finnish Prime Minister. More Russia stuff. Argentina. Interesting. Very interesting that there's not a lot of mention here about the strikes that are going on and just how severe the strikes in England are happening. Wouldn't want to get any ideas over here, right? That is very telling. That is very, very telling. Mass dispute and strikes. Oh yeah. It seems like that's the general theme. I mean, look at the pictures that non-binary superpowers has pointed out. They posted on the Discord too. Here, I'll show another one. We'll take a look at the last one. Yeah, this one's good. Check this one out. Yeah, in England. The latest economic forecast is for 18% inflation after Christmas. Oh man. Jeez. And people are crying about 8% over here. People are crying about 8% over here. Sheesh. We have fuel bills going up 400%. Yeah, I remember you telling me that, I think. Yikes.
Into the case exactly, but they are perhaps assisting with this. Alan Dershowitz has said he's spoken to many law firms, and they've outright said their lawyers are not allowed to go anywhere near Donald Trump.
That's because no lawyer will represent that loser. No, I disagree. If you pay them, even if you're like the worst of the worst, they'll represent you if you pay them. That's their job. No, Thatcher just taxes you for being poor.
Things are getting crazy in this country, my friends. Politico reported that a couple lawyers who won a major gun rights case split from their law firm because the firm dropped Second Amendment issues.
Wait, didn't he just say, like, Politico was wrong? Why are you citing Politico then?
They won on gun rights, a good thing, and their firm dropped the issue. Sorry, I look at all this, and I think everything is breaking down and falling apart. It is... not necessarily fascism that's on the rise, but some kind of totalitarianism, some kind of cult-like authoritarian ideology. When people are just bending over backwards to the establishment machine without question.
What? Oh God damn it, Tim! You were getting on the right path. You were starting to step on the right track here, and then you just hit the lever and then went in the complete opposite direction. I don't even know what the establishment is, okay? Like, these are just vague terms. Do you mean, like, the regular, like, political class? Maybe some of them. Are you talking about, like, corruption? Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of corruption. Thank you, Tim. Excellent political analysis. Thank you. But Tim is correct. There is a rising totalitarian ideology, and it's on the right, and it's Christian theocracy. It's Christofascism. Theofascism is the word, I think, that somebody taught me. Theofascism. That's what's on the rise. That's what's gaining full steam ahead. Has never been cheap. I knew English who moved to America to pay taxes to both Western powers in the 80s and 90s. Yikes. But yeah, I mean, England, or I should say London, is a major city. Yeah, that's like saying, like, wow, New York is, like, unaffordable. Yeah.
And there's little resistance. We know where this goes. The government raiding the home of a former president is...
Because it's not just a raid. It was a lawfully executed search warrant because there's probable cause and that necessitated a search warrant because they're looking for evidence for potential criminality. Because this guy just caught the attention of the FBI because he was not returning documents that he shouldn't have, despite going months back and forth with the National Archives. That's why this is happening, okay? It's not because he's it's not because it's a political thing. It's not because it's just Trump. It's because there's potential criminality that needs to be investigated. That's why this is happening. The answer is just that simple, okay? Jesus Christ. But yeah, this guy's job is to strengthen and bolster the propaganda machine for the right. That's his purpose, nothing more.
Unprecedented, and worse
still,
still,
it's not unprecedented. If you did shit that would attract the attention of the FBI, you would be on the end of a search warrant too, okay? Yes, I saw that Dr. Fauci has announced his retirement.
Donald Trump is filing a lawsuit challenging the government. But it seems like the right, the MAGA crowd, only ever react. Donald Trump, when he was president, he could have done a lot. He didn't. Some people.
No, he did. He did a lot of damage. He did a lot of damage. That's what he did. Is still doing a lot of damage. Is still doing a lot of damage.
People blame Jared Kushner, saying he was telling Trump, don't do these things, don't do this. Trump could have left Twitter and created Truth Social at the peak of his presence, of his presidency, forcing the media to sign up to his system. He didn't do it.
Because Trump's an idiot? Trump isn't the awesome, super special, awesome business person? And furthermore, even if he did, that wasn't going to really compete with Twitter? The judge who was signed off on the raid, who signed off on the search warrant, was previously employed by Epstein. He was previously a lawyer that handled some cases for the employees of Epstein. But again, let's say that is true. What is the relevance to this case? Why is that even like a important factoid?
What I've heard is that Kushner told him,
like, wow, lawyers that were paid money represented clients. Yes. Thank you.
don't do it. Don't leave Twitter. You got to be on Twitter. Now, I think Kushner's done some good things.
Because Twitter at the time was his speaker? What? What kind of a comment is that? I still fail to see the relevance. Other judges would not touch. What are you talking about? Do you have evidence to suggest a connection here? Because representing sleaze loves sleazy roles? What? I mean, some of those were words, and I guess they were English. Are you trying to fill in for your buddy that was here earlier? Because he didn't make the cut either.
Responsible for the Abraham Accords, so they say. But when you enter into the lion's den as an outsider, like Trump did.
Trump isn't. Whoa! Whoa, hold on. Stop. Trump is not an outsider, okay? Whoa. Miss me with that BS. Trump is not an outsider. He is a wealthy oligarch. He is the establishment. He is the swamp, okay? He's not an outsider by any means, by any stretch of the imagination. Wow, phenomenal political analysis. Thank you, Inachu. Politicians are corrupt. Thank you. Amazing. Wow. Truly phenomenal. Truly freaking phenomenal political analysis. What is this relevant to the video that we're watching again? What is the relevance to the video that we're watching? Or any of the points that I've made? Yes, politicians are corrupt. Thank you.
And then you
Water is wet.
think you can just do your thing because you're the president. This is what happens. And Trump only only files a lawsuit now after they already raided him.
What? Because you can only take legal action after something happens? Like, you can't sue the government for something that hasn't happened yet? What? The only reason you would file a lawsuit is because you were searched. If you were never searched, if that search warrant was never executed, why would you need to file a lawsuit against the federal government? Oh my god. Hey, I like pie. Yeah, Trump sued the government, the federal government. I don't know what merit that. Yeah, only discovered that. I don't know what merit that's gonna be in court, or if it's gonna have any merit. But apparently this is the big. This is what passes for right wing political analysis. Also, Trump is not the president any longer. Yeah, I know. Maybe the judge is in on it with Trump, and they've been friends since the little St. James Island days. True. Maya is slowly cracking the code. All right.
Question.
So you know what? You know what I need? I need a tinfoil beanie. That's what I need. Okay. I need to make a tinfoil beanie, or you know what I need to do? I need to grab my other beanie and just wrap it in tinfoil so that it looks like a tinfoil beanie. And just use that when we have to when we have to cover videos like this. Yeah.
Why didn't Trump announce he was running for president before the raid happened?
What difference would it have made? What? Do you think that, like, running for president is going to, what, make the FBI not investigate potential crimes? What? Yeah, there you go. I like pie. What? Yes. I know what gives complete legal immunity. Announcing that you're... Damn, if that's the case, listen, chat, we've got a major announcement. The next time I ever do like a crime, the next time I do a speeding... Okay, listen. The next time I get a speeding ticket, before that happens, before the officer stops me, okay, I'm gonna speed everywhere I go. But the moment the lights come on, I'm gonna make an announcement. I'm gonna hit send on all my social medias, okay? I'm gonna hit send on all my social medias, and I'm gonna announce my presidency. I'm gonna announce my candidacy for the 2024 election, and then that's it. We're good. That should do it. And then I'm gonna show that video to the officer as he stops me for speeding. I'm gonna be like, look, I mean, I announced it before the whole incident, so yeah, I'm good. I'm clear. What logic is this? Oh, his brain was corrupted long before the virus, my friend. Trump is it's on his highly daily dose of bleach. Nah, bleach is old news, my friend. Now it's ivermectin. Yeah, exactly.
When news was bubbling up, I said he should do it. Now they're trying to say, well, they're going after him because he's running for office. Okay.
No, not really.
Now they're going to say...
Who's they? Wait, who's they? Joe Rogan? The epitome of political commentators? Joe Rogan? Because that's where this is coming from. Like, Joe Rogan made a comment that he thinks that it's potentially a politically motivated thing to stop Trump from running, which it's not. He's completely wrong. Then Fox ran with that, and Fox made a whole entire segment that we had to watch, regurgitating that talking point and then cementing it as if like that is genuine political analysis. No. That's speculation. Okay? That's speculation. And no, like, the FBI isn't going to look at you and being like, oh man, damn, this guy's like going to run for president, so we can't investigate the potential crimes that are being done here, I guess. What? No, that's not how things work. That's not how the real world works. Of course, Tim doesn't want you to know that. Tim needs you to be completely devoid from critical thinking whatsoever and question what's going on here. The reality is simple, okay? The reality is simple and boring, okay? A known con man, a known criminal who has done shady shit his entire life is, wow, checks notes, doing shady shit. The Republican means that everyone who does not think to worship Trump, yeah, the Republican, MAGA, it's all the same, all the same. These extreme far-right people, all the same. All the same.
Say the opposite. Psh, he's only going to run because... And then whether or not it's true, we know Trump is going to run. But they're going to keep playing the narrative. And the problem is, we know they're lying. They know we know they're lying.
What? Lying about what? What? Lying about the search warrant that was executed at his house? Lying about the statutes that exist? Lying about the probable cause that prompted this? Lying about the months of back and forth from the National Archive? Back and forth? All that was just a lie? What lie, Tim? This is like Russell Brand level. Holy shit. This is like Russell Brand level of conspiratorial, like, you know they're lying, right? You know they're lying. And you know that they know that we know that they know. That we know that you know that they know that they're lying, right? God, I really do need a tinfoil beanie. Alright, I really do. Okay. You know it and I know. Yeah, this is indistinguishable from like Alex Jones rhetoric. I'm not even lying. I'm not even kidding. You know it and I know it and we all know it, that they know it, that you know, that I know, that we know, that they're lying. And it's the establishment. What? Oh man, I need a tinfoil beanie. Okay? Listen, after stream, my first priority is to grab my other beanie and make like a tinfoil thing out of it, okay? That's what I'm gonna do as soon as I'm done. As soon as I'm done with the stream. We're only 4 minutes into the video? Yeah, that's what happens when you're dealing with people like Tim Pool. Yeah, that's an old great joke. We know the time's 12. I didn't know. Actually, I literally just did that out of the, maybe subconsciously I've seen it before. You're gonna have to remind me, Alio, because I have no idea. Maybe subconsciously I've seen it before. So, like, I just did it. Because it just happened. I like Pie with the 40 biddies. Thank you so much. You're so much sarcastic and caustic on your weekday streams. I like it. I appreciate that. There's some leftover bits for the foil beanie. Alio with the 10 biddies, making that 50 an even 50. So that means, yeah, each biddy equals one speck of foil. Okay. You know what? There's a article about the 500-year flood. 500-year flood, I'm sorry. 500-year drought that we need to go over after we're done. After we're done with this nonsense. Okay.
Lying. But the people who keep supporting them don't know or care.
What?
And they march in lockstep with the bots and the lies and the manipulation.
From who? Please, tell me. From who? Also, Echo Raster Dragon. We're playing this at 1.25 speed, okay? Because I'm trying to get through this fast. We're playing it at 1.25, and we're freaking 4.5 minutes in. Jesus.
You have to get proactive. There's a lot of good news going around. Liz Cheney's defeat. Brian Stelter's out at CNN.
Yes. Liz Cheney's defeat at the hands of an election denier. The GOP's growing ranks of election deniers who absolutely have no respect for electoralism. They have no respect for democracy. Yes, that's the thing we need to be celebrating, definitely. And As a side note, Elon Musk was there too, celebrating Liz Cheney's defeat, sorry, because, well, at the end of the day, he's just another far right. He's just another conservative, despite what he tells people. He's just another clown in the circus, okay? Man, I can't believe, like, it almost feels like I'm the crazy one when I point out stuff like, yeah, Elon Musk is like not like some kind of super genius. Elon Musk is a narcissistic piece of shit. And then, like, people will literally gaslight me and tell me that, like, oh yeah, but he did X, Y. I don't give a shit. Fuck that guy. And to further kind of like get that, to further kind of peep into the his mindset, he's out there celebrating Liz Cheney's defeat. Okay? Liz Cheney's defeat, which, fine, Liz Cheney, by the way, is a terrible, like, person, okay? Liz Cheney is no different, ideologically, no different, okay? The only thing that made Liz Cheney different was the fact that she actually believed the election results of a duly, of a free and fair election. That's the only thing that she did. She was like, yep, this is true. And, yep, there's some serious anti-democratic tendencies happening here. That's literally all she did. But the rest of the time, she was 93+% in lockstep with Trump's agenda, in lockstep with conservative laws and whatnot. That's how she voted. That's her record. The record speaks for itself, no matter what she says, no matter how speeches, the amount of speeches she says about democracy and all this other stuff. All she cares about is power, and she saw that there was a threat there. That's it. That's it. All she did was, damn, yeah, these elections happened the way they did. She called grass green and she called water wet. But she's not a good person. She's not a good person. And Elon Musk was celebrating her defeat at the hands of an election denier. At the hands of somebody who fundamentally does not believe in democratic processes at all. That's what he's celebrating. Think about that. Think about that. I feel like that constantly. Am I the crazy one? Yeah, I feel gaslit for saying shit. Like, it seems like so obvious. It seems. Yeah, lock her up.
And is changing their tune. Good news. Fauci's resigning. And now we're learning that Liz Cheney's talk about running in 2024 is actually really, really bad news.
Whoa! Fauci's resigning? You would think that would merit its own entire segment. You would think that would merit an entire segment about, like, some kind of COVID conspiracy or whatnot, but apparently not. Apparently we're just gonna skip right over that one. Oh, shoot. God dang it. Okay.
We have a political song coming next. 7 p.m. as well as what's going on with the latest escalation in the 2024 is actually really, really bad news for Democrats. In fact, it would pull a ton of Biden support to Liz Cheney, and then Trump will win if he runs in 2024, and so does Liz Cheney if she runs as an independent, which I don't necessarily think she will.
So then why did you bring that up? Lots of good news, but also things that probably won't happen. What? Oh, thanks, Tim. Truly delivering the best political analysis. How do people listen to this guy? I don't even know if I could finish this video, I'm gonna be honest. We're not even 5 minutes in, and I have to stop every 5 seconds.
It seems like every day there's some kind of crazy escalation. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news all the time,
What
but this is big
escalation?
news. I mean, Donald Trump fighting back is good. But let's read the story and figure out what's going on with the latest escalation in the political civil war that's happening in this country.
Wait, so now
Before we
it's a
get
political
started, head
civil
over
war.
to timcast.com
Hey.
and become a member.
Whoa.
Access to exclusive
Whoa.
release from the first single under Tim.
Stop.
It's just a song.
Nope.
Very political.
Nope.
And it rags. Here's the story from Law and Crime.
Jesus.
Trump files a lawsuit against U.S. government claims most Americans are distressed by shockingly aggressive search of former president's home. They say the litigation is positioned as a motion for judicial oversight and additional relief. It is docketed under the caption,
Wait, okay, hold on. I have to see the sources of this. Oh, of course, he doesn't post sources. Of course not. Of course he doesn't post sources. Ugh. Anyways, let's see if we can actually get like a little bit of a title there.
caption Trump v. United States government. Here's the story from Law and Crime.
Law and Crime, okay.
Trump files a lawsuit against U.S.
Thank you. Law and Crime, Trump lawsuit, I guess. This was 1 day ago. Former President Trump on Monday filed court papers to combat a search warrant signed on August 5th and executed on August 8th. The litigation is positioned as a motion for judicial oversight. Okay. It also does not initially refer to Trump as past tense president. That's funny. Nowhere in this article does it state what he's talking about. Oh, okay, I see. It's because Tim can't read. It's because Tim can't read. That's the problem here. This is the citation that he's bringing. To stop Trumpism, we need all hands on deck, including rotten conservatives like Liz Cheney. I don't know. I don't know. It's like, yeah, sure, but she's literally ideologically the same. There's no difference. I don't know. I mean, like, if she wants to do her own like political action committee, which is really what's going on, she's not running for office. What she's doing is engaging in political action committees. Against certain Republicans, whatever. But yeah, that's about the extent of my like wanting or needing really her help, and like really, it's also a verdict of like the Democratic Party too, right? How is this? Why is this such a hard thing to do? Why are we having such a problem? We meaning like if I'm looking at it from the perspective of a Democratic, if I'm looking at it from the perspective of the Democratic Party, why are they having such trouble dealing with these clowns? Why are they having so much trouble dealing with these clowns? If you want my opinion, the Democratic Party needs to step on the gas. They need to do a lot more. They need to present more W's, more for the American people. They need to present good policy, not garbage, not halves, not halvesies. They need to produce good policy and just go full steam ahead with that. Good policy that has a palpable effect, okay, on the American people. That's how you win. That's how you win. No progressive could have beat Cheney and the Trumpists who opposed her. In these deep red states, Republicans like Cheney are the only alternative. No. In deep red states, that's not always the alternative. And furthermore, you let the Republicans eat themselves. I'm not interested in, like, helping them. Cancel student loans. That would be a huge one. While Republicans eat themselves, they're eating democracy at the same time. That's the problem. Yeah, so we stop these clowns at the ballot box. Why are the Democratic Party like being so half-assed about these kind of things, right? Like, they should be pushing full steam ahead. Like, listen, let's do what we can with student loans, all right? Let's do what we can with student loans. Let's do what we can for healthcare. Let's get stuff that people can see with their hands in their pockets. Because that's what works. Good policy is what works. People are struggling now because of Republicans. I mean, I could make that argument, but what's the point of that comment again? I really think the Democrats should focus on good policy. Good policy that's backed by good rhetoric, that's backed by good campaigns. That's what I think. If they're interested in winning, right? If they're interested in winning. If you want my opinion, the problem with the Democratic Party, fundamentally, is that there's a disconnect between the party itself, the leadership party, the platform, and the constituency. There's a disconnect between these things. And if they're interested in winning, and if the Democratic Party is interested in winning, they really need to get their shit together. Will they? Probably not. I'm not holding my breath. If you want my opinion, if you want electoral strategy, doing some like 400D chess moves, Redmond, shore up the Libertarian Party. Shore up the Libertarian Party. If you want an example of what Democrats have done when given the positions, California passes HHAP, Homeless Housing Assistance Prevention Grant Program. HHP round is $650 million grant that provides local jurisdictions with funds to support regional coordination to expand or develop local capacity to address immediate homelessness challenge. HHAP round is another $300 million grant that provides local support to local jurisdictions to continue to build on regional collaboration developed through previous rounds of CAL-ICH funding to develop a unified regional response to homelessness. Round 3 is $1 billion that provides local jurisdictions, including federally recognized tribal governments, the flexible funding to continue efforts to end prevent homelessness in their communities. Next question. Anyways, so as I was saying, Tim Pool can't read. What it's saying is that the lawsuit claims that most Americans are distressed by shocking aggressive search of former President Trump. Well, yeah, the lawsuit is made by Trump's people. No shit, they're gonna try to claim that. The reality is, the majority of people, support the ongoing probes into Trump's potential criminality. That's the actual reality.
This government claims most Americans are distressed by shockingly aggressive search of former president's home.
It's just that Tim Pool can't read.
They said the litigation is positioned as a motion for judicial oversight and additional relief. It is docketed under the caption Trump v. United States government. Politics cannot be allowed to impact the administrative justice, the motion asserts.
What politics? Like, do we just cry politics when a crime is getting investigated? Listen, I am registered with a certain party. So you know what, officer? This is political, okay? This is political. What? I am shocked.
It also does not initially refer to Trump as a past tense president.
Yes, because this is filed by Trump's team. What? We're presumably on Trump's side and agree with him. And probably entertain this election fraud narrative.
President Donald J.
Because
Trump
he's the one that pays him.
is the clear frontrunner in the 2024 Republican presidential primary and in the 2024 general election should he decide to run. Beyond that, his endorsement in the 2022 midterm elections has been decisive for Republican candidates.
Irrelevant. All of this is irrelevant, okay? This has no bearing on whether or not the FBI has the ability to investigate crimes. What? I'm shocked that there's gambling going on in this establishment.
We'll pause real quick. It has been. And he also endorsed Democrats. And it's going to be funny when those Democrats win. And then Trump's like, see, my endorsements are perfect even when I endorse Democrats. Anyway. Later, however, the document asserts that the search involved the former president's home, a tacit acknowledgement that Joe Biden is indeed the president. What does that have to do with anything? We had Rick Santorum on. We referred to him as Senator Santorum. It's a title, an honorific. He is President Trump. He's not currently the president. We know that, but we still say President Obama because it's a title they've earned. Or it's
do we, buddy? Do we?
Achieved. The motion calls the August 8th search.
There's a large swath of the population that doesn't think that way, my friend. There's a large swath of the population that is living in an alternate reality.
Search of Mar-a-Lago, a shockingly aggressive move with no understanding of the distress that it would cause most Americans. Roughly 24 special agents from the FBI, directed by attorneys at the DOJ, raided the home of President Donald Trump. It goes on. According to the government, The agent seized documents, privileged and or potentially privileged materials and other items, including photos, handwritten notes, and even President Trump's passports that were outside the lawful reach of an already overbroad warrant. President Trump, like all citizens, is protected by the Fourth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution.
Again, he's reading off statements that were made by Trump's legal team, okay? These aren't facts. These are the arguments that they are presenting.
Property seized in violation of its constitutional rights must be returned forthwith. Law enforcement is a shield that protects Americans.
Wait, these passwords were
be used as a weapon for political purposes. Therefore, we seek judicial assistance in the aftermath of an unprecedented and unnecessary raid on President Trump's home. The privileged materials referenced are purported to be communications between Trump and his top advisors. The documents claim those materials are presumptively privileged and that protecting the purported privilege is important to the institution of the presidency, no matter who is in office. And he's right here. The craziest thing about this is that since this whole January 6th stuff started, they've been asserting Trump's inner circle executive privilege, and it's been denied by Biden. That means any president who leaves loses privilege. Then what's the point of having privilege at all?
Because if you're doing some shady shit, dude, that doesn't fall under that. Yeah. If there's a oversight committee doing a House oversight investigation, not everything is going to be covered under that, okay?
The executive branch needs to be able to have its communications to operate independently. But if they can be stripped afterwards, that is the sword of Damocles hanging over the head of any president. They're going to say, I can't talk about these issues because that branch will come after me. No, a president needs to be able to negotiate.
I don't know, Tim. Maybe not everything needs to be executive privilege.
This is crazy. One section of the filing balks that there was no exigency to support a forceful raid on Mar-a-Lago. Exigency, however,
it wasn't a raid. It was a lawfully executed search warrant. Stop. Stop.
A word employed in legal circles to excuse the need for a warrant in pursuit of a suspected criminal. Here, a warrant was secured. Yes, but I think we get the point. There was no need to raid the house. They could have shut up, knocked on the door, and said, we need them now. I suppose, however, in the event...
Are we going to make a mention of all the requests and the back and forth that were happening for months between this Trump aides or whatever, the Trump people, and the National Archives that were going back and forth months previously? Armed FBI agents they executed a lawfully obtained search warrant. Thank you.
That they denied it, there would have been this or whatever, but apparently Trump was cooperating. This another section of the motion confirms that Trump...
You don't have a choice.
...was the subject of a May 11th, 2022 grand jury subpoena, which sought documents bearing classification markings. The documents contain multiple hearty assurances.
Yes, and some of them are at the top levels that are very sensitive, that shouldn't have been there. And he had possessions of them. He had months. He had multiple opportunities going back and forth with the National Archive. Okay? So, yeah, this had to happen.
That Trump was cooperative with multiple government efforts to glean boxes of documents from the palatial Florida compound. One such visit is alleged to have occurred as follows. On June 3rd, 2022, Jay Brett, chief of the Counterintelligence and Export Control Section of the DOJ's National Security Division, came to Mar-a-Lago accompanied by 3 FBI agents. President Trump greeted them in the dining room at Mar-a-Lago. There were 2 other attendees, the person designated as the custodian of records for the office of Donald Trump and counsel for President Trump. Before leaving the group, President Trump's last words to Mr. Brett and the FBI agents were as follows, quote, whatever you need, just let us know. Brett inspected what the motion describes as a storage room, and responsive documents were provided. A follow-up conversation is said to have included a request by Brett that Trump secure the room. A second lock was therefore installed at Trump's alleged request. What followed was the now famous search. I think infamous is the appropriate word. Trump's attorneys claim Brett requested that Mar-a-Lago security cameras be turned off during the execution of the warrant. That request, the motion indicates, was declined. The motion additionally says Trump tried to send a message to Attorney General Merrick Garland through Brett on August 11th. Trump wants the Attorney General to know that he has been hearing from people over the country that about the raid. If there was one word to describe their mood, it's angry. The heat is building up. The pressure is building. Whatever I can do to take the heat down, to bring the pressure down, just let us know. Garland held a press conference just hours after the phone.
Yes, my rabid supporters are threatening violence. What?
Call in which he admitted personally approving the warrant. Okay, so we know a lot about this. The point is Trump is suing, saying stop. Here's where it gets crazy. MD Wheel points out, pro se means Trump is going alone. Alex Mullen says new. It appears Trump's legal team has filed an SDFL, cause listed as motion for judicial review. No document available yet, though. Represented by Donald J. Trump, pro se. That's interesting. Trump is, journalists, please stop bearing the lead. Pro se, Trump is representing himself. A lot of people are saying, okay, it's no longer a pro se filing. Here we go from Empty Wheel. I forget whether Halligan is the garage lawyer or something else. There are...
Yeah, how people read that thread and claim it's Trump trying to calm things down blows my mind. Yeah, like, my supporters are angry. Okay? My supporters are angry, and they're violent, and Tim Pool is even corroborating this by saying that they're threatening civil war over shit that I did, or over shit that supposedly I'm under investigation for. And if something happens, then it's your fault? What? This is some abusive tactics over here.
Are other individuals on this? Okay, so Trump initially filed this representing himself. Apparently there were a bunch of lawyers listed who still needed to file that they were going to be signing on. Here's where it gets crazy. Trump has some lawyers.
Wait.
A lot of people are saying, okay, it's no longer a pro se filing. Here we go from Empty Wheel. I forget whether
it's no longer. So then, what the point? What's the point of saying that he's going alone? You can say things that doesn't make it any different, my friend. You can have all the feelings in the world, but it doesn't change the facts. It doesn't change the facts.
Halligan is the garage lawyer or something else. There are other individuals on this. Okay, so Trump initially filed this representing himself. Apparently there were a bunch of lawyers listed who still needed to file that they were going to be...
So it wasn't. What? Oh my God. Excellent political analysis. Thank you, Tim.
Signing on. Here's where it gets crazy. Trump has some lawyers, but this is where I see this country breaking down, and this is why it is so important we build culture. Alan Dershowitz says every reputable attorney he's spoken with has told him their firms won't let them go anywhere near Trump. Let's talk about music. And this is relevant to this. It is.
What?
So, I think it was last year. One of my favorite bands growing up, The Offspring. The first...
You have great trolls? Oh, yeah. I have the best trolls. Nobody has trolls like me.
Album I ever bought. The first song I ever learned how to play, The Kids Aren't All Right. Man, I think I was like 13. I was younger than that, probably. Man, might have been like 12. What year was that?
Tim.
97, 98?
Hey, Tim.
Pete Parada was their drummer. When he was younger, he suffered...
Relevance. Please.
From Guillain-Barré syndrome. And so when he went to the doctor, they said, the risk is not worth it. I'm sorry, we recommend against the vaccine. It's unfortunate. He wasn't this hardcore anti-vaxxer dude. He's just a drummer. The Offspring fired him. Well, I talked to him and said, bro, I would be honored if you would play drums for the, write the drum tracks to the music that we write. The music I've been putting together my whole life. If you told me that I would have the Offspring drummer playing music, I never would have believed you.
Oh, good Lord. So, yeah, no wonder. This makes sense. Tim's drummer is the drummer from The Offspring.
But here he is. After 14 years, he's fired from The Offspring, and now he's working with me and many other bands. A lot of well-known bands and punk bands and things like that. We put out a promo. Tremendous response. Within like 12 hours, 500,000 views. Amazing. But on Twitter, people are really going after us.
Yeah, I know. It's great. It's great.
There are other bands, older bands, insulting him, calling him the anti-vax drummer, just really awful things. This is important. You see, the goal of the left is to try and make it impossible for...
Wait, who's the left? Mean people on Twitter? Damn, dude. There's mean people everywhere. the left equals like mean people on Twitter? How do you know they're all left? Raid to center a place to look for something or someone to steal or take something. A search warrant, a legal document authorizing a police officer or other officials to enter, search a premise. Words, I know, words are hard to some people. It's okay. Thank you. Fun fact, the singer of The Offspring has a PhD in molecular biology. Nice. Pretty sure he was fired because he couldn't get the vaccine due to a medical issue, right? That's what happened. Yeah, we have to like look into that. Hold on. You know what? Listen, I like The Offspring. Let me check. Okay, so the story is true that he does have like a rare disease, autoimmune disease, but he was dropped as this is an increasingly industry mandate, not unique to The Offspring. It's not unique to The Offspring, and there's no indication that there was ever bad blood between the members of The Offspring. We don't even know if this was like something that The Offspring together, they said, no, get out of here, they booted him, or if this was a mandate by their record label or managers. We don't know that. And it isn't even clear if he left permanently. In other words, once this is all over, the industry will go back to its normal procedures. So I don't think that the story is as Tim describes it 100%. A raid with a search warrant is still a raid? Negative. A raid implies that there was some kind of... first of all, it's not a sudden forcible entry. There was no sudden forcible entry at all. They presented the search warrant to Trump's legal team, and it happened. That's how it happened. Okay? They knew about this. The National Archives and the Trump people, aides or whatever, have been going back and forth about this. So the fact that like this was just a surprise Pikachu face, not really. What's the big deal? It's a raid? No, it's a lawfully executed search warrant. Stop. Yeah, it wasn't a no-knock raid, okay? It wasn't exactly simulacra. It wasn't a no-knock raid. The Trump's team was there on site. Okay, so unless they had like some kind of omnipotent powers that they just or teleported, boom. Unless they just teleported there, Trump's legal team was there. Trump's legal team had the search warrant papers. They were given those papers. Jesus Christ, some people, I tell you. Anything to ignore the truth of what's going on. Anything. La 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 la. I don't want to hear it. La 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 la. Like these
For
people.
You to work. Cancel culture.
Cancel
How could Trump
culture.
not get a
Cancel culture is when there's an industry mandate and I can't follow it. but yet I'm still getting massive deals. What?
A lawyer, the Klan was able to get the ACLU. Culture is the most important thing.
Jesus Christ.
Cultural enforcement is more powerful than any law.
That's
the ability
not
for
true.
people to
What?
work and be comfortable is more important than any law.
We're going from culture to the ability of people to work, but he could, just not with them? What? And cancel culture somehow? Like, these are like, we're getting thrown buzzwords faster than I can deal with this. Definition of a raid does not say unless a search warrant present. Because it's not a raid. That's why it's not in the definition. Jesus fucking Christ. The definition of a raid doesn't say unless a search warrant is present, because that's not the definition of a raid. Holy shit. It's like, is English hard? Like, is English like your second language? Like, not to be insulting. My point is, it was a lawfully executed search warrant because that's what it was. I'm being as direct and as precise as one could be. That is what happened. Are you disputing the fact that this was a lawfully executed search warrant? Is that what you're trying to dispute? I'm describing what happened in the most clear and concise way possible. Unbelievable.
That's the important factor here. It's why it was so important that I thought we needed to immediately hire someone like Pete. I mean, first of all, let me just say, yeah, when they fired this dude, they made a huge mistake. The dude's an amazing drummer. He's a really nice guy. He's calm. He's not super political. And he's just a drummer, man. He's a regular old guy. Plays drums. You know,
I'm still waiting to see the connection between the music thing and this.
for me, it's just like a dream come true to be able to play music with the guy who played with the Offspring for 14 years. It's really crazy. But
I don't add words or change the meaning of a word. A raid is a raid. But it wasn't a raid. It was a lawfully executed search warrant. You're just trying to use the word when it's improper. The situation does not call for the word raid. What actually happened, and you can look this up. What actually happened was a search warrant was approved, and then it was executed. That's literally what happened.
the reality is, for me, we have to make sure we open up spaces for these people to exist and live. Otherwise, this is what happens.
What?
Trump can't get a lawyer? They're insulting his lawyer, saying Trump's got the garage lawyer.
You're adding words to the definition? What words am I adding? What words am I adding? Okay. What does it say on that definition? I need you to understand this. What does it say? Search warrant. A legal document authorizing a police officer or other officials to enter and search premises. That's what happened. Nope. This is what happened. There was actual legal documents that were presented to Trump's team, making this a lawfully executed search warrant. What part of this definition are you disputing? Is this not what happened? This guy must be bored. You're right. Yeah, Biden is old. Show me the definition of raid. Raid Shadow Legends? Here. A sudden attack on enemy troops by an aircraft or armed forces in warfare. Conducted a raid on. A surprise visit by police to arrest suspected people or seize illicit goods. That's not what happened. That's not what happened. That's not what happened. There was nothing surprising. Who was arrested? Who was arrested again? What surprise was there? There was nothing surprising about that. I understand reading is hard for you people, but what surprise element was that? Trump's legal team was there. They were on site already. This has been happening for months. Who was arrested? The definition says to arrest suspected people. That's the whole point. That's why I'm using the words search warrant. That's why I'm using the terminology or the phrasing that it was a legally executed search warrant, because that's what happened. Okay? Nobody was arrested. This is a preliminary investigation. We're gathering evidence. Jesus. I understand reading is hard for you people, but damn.
Pro se. I'm like, dude, that's not a good thing. We as a country for the longest time recognized that the worst of the worst still got lawyers. But what they're doing is making sure that anyone who goes against the machine will never be able to work again. Now Trump can't get a good lawyer to defend himself.
That's bullshit. That's bullshit. There will be law firms that if you pay them, despite whether how guilty or not, if you pay them, they will represent you. That is bullshit. What Tim is saying is bullshit.
Take a look at this. You guys need to understand this. This is important. Firm splits with lawyers who won gun rights case at Supreme Court. The exit follows a decision by Kirkland and Ellis to drop Second Amendment litigation. We need lawyers who will fight for our rights under the Second Amendment to keep and bear arms. They got axed. They won, they got axed. They are telling these lawyers, if you defend gun rights, you're gone. If you defend Trump, you're...
So open your private practice? Open your private practice? Okay. If you've passed the bar and you have a authority or license to practice law, you can practice law. What's the point being made here, Tim?
You're gone. If you go back a few decades.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So if you have to make a bullshit point, you make sure that you like yell into the mic, and then make sure that you sound very confident about the bullshit that you're just talking about. Now that the person's gone, it's gonna be like, oh, Sturmer canceled me for having a different opinion. Yeah, no, his different opinion is that he doesn't understand words and definitions. Listen, the reason why I'm so adamant about these things is because these things matter, okay? These are how narratives are spun. Words are so freaking important, and the fact that, like, people twist definitions, that shit just doesn't fly with me. I'm sorry. You better, if you're gonna come here, you better come correct. If you're gonna come at the king, you better not miss. Use words correctly. Words mean something. Okay? When I say it is a legally executed search warrant, it is because that is a search warrant that was presented and then executed. It's literally due process. This is what happened, okay? Nobody was arrested. This wasn't a surprise appearance by the FBI. The FBI is not some type of secret police either. They're pretty open. And it's just all wrong. Yeah, so maybe they could pick up a dictionary or use Google. Google is free, okay? Google is free. Look up words before you speak, okay?
The ACLU defended the Klan. You go back a few years, they defended Unite the Right in Charlottesville, but they got scared because these crackpot, liberal, woke, whatever, started pulling their donations. They are trying to...
Who? What? Source?
Homogenize a machine to make it so you can't work. Now, look, I play music. I'm not a lawyer.
So then why are you talking about this?
So what can I do? When they try to destroy the career of someone like Pete Parada, I can say, bro, it would be an honor for us to hire you to play music.
But you could just release music on his own. The right-wing propaganda machine works at it, making everyone anti-vax during the pandemic, so trusting them and Trump, not me. Yeah, because it gives them clicks. And like these people are like super mad that like a pandemic happened and like we had to take like extreme measures and they're mad.
Hired Taylor Silverman. You guys know Taylor Silverman?
Music, yeah.
She spoke out because as a female skateboarder, amateur skateboarder, competing, trying to earn money, a biological male was allowed to compete against her and win. And on more than one occasion this has happened. Taking prize money away from biological females. And they argue, well, it's a women's division and trans women are women. But we didn't create a women's division because sometimes people feel feminine. We did it because there's biological differences between males and females. We hired Taylor. For one, she's great. She's a good skateboarder. We need the talent for the new skate projects we're launching. And it's the same thing. I want to make sure every single person that I can support, and it's not everybody, you know, I do what I can, that if they're trying to destroy your career and ability to work over things like this, there will be a space and an opportunity for you. It's
over things like this, like public health measures, over things like this, attempting to defend a criminal, attempting to defend someone who's potentially under investigation. And who has a vast resume of doing shady shit. What is he supposed to be saying in this video? I don't know. Something about cancel culture, woke, left. I don't know. The only one he hasn't hit yet is Marxist.
At timcast.com, we are using Parallel Economy for all membership starting now. The default, when you sign up, is Parallel Economy, a censorship-resistant financial transaction service co-funded by Dan Bongino.
Yes, Dan Bongino, another exemplary human being. Why does he keep putting perfect sex on screen?
This is the nightmare scenario. So, my point, I'm not a law firm. I can't hire lawyers. I can work with lawyers. But lawyers are saying they can't work with Trump because they work for firms. Y'all need to start your own firms.
They can? Nobody's stopping them? If Trump pays the price, a firm will represent him. Nobody said otherwise. There's no evidence for this.
Do something. Don't stand for this. This is the death of the Republic. If you can't get...
The death of the Republic. Oh no. Yeah, this is one giant word salad, and I'm less smart for listening to this. Alan Dershowitz, like the actual headline says, Alan Dershowitz says every reputable attorney that he's spoken with has told him their firms won't let them go anywhere near Trump. He's spoken with. What if he's like spoken with like two?
A lawyer. What can I do? I can launch projects with people who have their careers destroyed, who are good people who shouldn't have had their careers destroyed, and resist the machine for as long as I can.
What is the machine?
You know what? Pete Parada, he's now on a Times Square billboard for the past several days. And
what? The machine? What is the machine? Trump is part of it. Trump is an oligarch. Dershowitz also complains all the time that nobody will talk to him anymore because of his connections with Epstein. Ironic from Tim.
And for the next week or so, there are 2 massive billboards with this dude that tried to destroy his career. Nah, man, this is a good dude, and he's good at what he does, and through no fault of his own. So we got him up on a Times Square billboard. Bring the haters. You're not going to get us down. And this is why they're freaking out.
What? I'm sorry. Did I miss like some like massive backlash? Did I miss some like massive amount of like haters going on this guy's like profile and messing with him? No, because it didn't happen. Jesus.
This is why they're coming so hard on Twitter, so angry about this.
What?
On all the
Angry
other
about
platforms,
what?
Everybody's digging the music. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend we're writing.
Oh, he's mad. Okay. Oh, now it's all coming together, folks. Okay, it's all coming together. Listen, poor Tim's feelings are hurt because people were mean to him online. That's it. That's what this is about. That's what this is about. Okay, I get it now. Tim's mad. Tim's hurt. All right, listen, guys, we need to have a little bit more empathy. Okay? Tim's mad because, checks notes, people were mean to him online. It's all coming together now. Yeah, 19 minutes in, we finally understand what's going on here. All right, here we go. There we go.
Legendary, epic composites. We're writing music we like for people who might like it. I don't expect to be a Billboard Hot 100 or anything like that. We're just having a good time, and we're trying to run new businesses. Not every song released by every person becomes a double platinum hit. Most music, they find their audience. People make like trip hop or whatever, and it's like you're not going to be Billboard Hot 100, but you're going to have a show, man, and you're going to have fans. And we're going to make that space available. We are going to build culture in all spaces to make sure, like the Daily Wire is doing, when they come to you and say, we're going to destroy your career if you dare defy us, they're going to say, bro, go ahead. Because I can go work for the Daily Wire.
I love The Emperor's New Groove. Same. It was one of those like childhood films that kind of stuck with me too.
And I can go work for Timcast, and they've created a space where it's possible to live and succeed without bending the knee to your psychopathy.
So, cancel culture doesn't exist?
This is nuts. That Trump can't get a lawyer is insane.
That's not what anything. What? That's not remotely true. That isn't remotely close to what's being said here. That is not the claim that's being said here. That's not the claim that's being said here. The claim that he says is that some the folks that he's talked with won't let them go anywhere near Trump. Not that Trump can't get a lawyer. That is a wildly different claim.
It is home. The dude needs to be able to find representation. O.J. Simpson got lawyers?
Yeah, pay them. Tim, that's how this works. If you pay a law firm, they will represent you. If you pay the price of the law firm that they ask, they will represent you.
There are so many people that the worst of the worst are able to get lawyers, even if it's just a public defender. Insider reports.
I mean, if it's a criminal case and he ends up actually being indicted and he's actually the defendant of a criminal case, yeah, he will have the option of getting a public defender. Yes, Tim, that's exactly how that would pan out if he's if he's indicted. Yes, also you don't get a public defender if you're the plaintiff in this case. This is other. Yeah, you're right. But I'm saying that even if you were like to be indicted for the criminal stuff, yes, he would absolutely have the right to get a public defender, and he would. What's the problem here?
The lawyer who defended former President Trump in his Senate
All
impeachment,
right, I'm bored.
pandering to a group of people who don't care about them and don't give.
I'm bored. Listen, Tim, I understand that your feelings were hurt because people were mean to you on Twitter, but you bored me, okay? Listen, I was one of those people because I made fun of the initial song, okay, and rightfully so, but now I'm bored, okay, because this entire 30 minutes are really just to air your grievances about that, of people being mean to you online. If you can't handle it, maybe you should stop making videos. Jesus Christ. And I thought the left, or what's often conflated with the liberals, are snowflakes. Snowflakes. I'm just starting to realize that everyone is just mad because people were mean to them on Twitter. Yeah, you know, people are mean to me all the time, okay? People send me the most weirdest DMs, okay? And I'm still here, okay? I don't need to make 30-minute videos to air my grievances, okay? Listen, I could be roasted by everyone on Twitter and I would be just fine, okay? Yeah, thanks, Tim. Now I feel less smart for indulging this. Anyways, on to like actual news, things that are important to discuss. I'm saying this is wild. Okay. I'm honestly glad I never got a Twitter account. You're not missing anything.
The saying is, water is life. We're waterborne people. We depend on it.
This fishing spot is ancient. The Mohawk, the Ganyakahaga, were fishing here thousands of years before the first European settlers arrived. This is Akwesasne, where the Mohawk have fished since long before this border cut their nation in half.
Fishing in this community is important. I know for our grandparents, it was a way of life. I believe in having those traditions passed down so they're never forgotten.
That one's huge.
Seeing those little boys and girls smiling and catching fish and enjoying themselves,
Yay!
that's the best. Yeah.
If you head upriver, just a couple of miles from this spot, you'll find two abandoned industrial sites. This is the spot where poisonous chemicals made their way into the river, into the fish, and into the Mohawk people. 40 years later, they're still carrying that poison.
That's so
And chances
heft.
are, you are too.
When Bob meme, you see a post on Facebook and scroll on by.
I've been getting paid $1,000 a month, if
Oh.
not more, just from this app on my phone.
Listen,
And I don't know.
stop trying to sell me scams, okay?
People used to live on the islands themselves, totally self-sufficient. My grandfather used to live on St. Regis Island. He's the one that introduced me to fishing. And we would row across the river. The shorelines were covered with weed beds. And it was a task to get our rowboat through the weed beds. We'd catch perch, sunfish, rock bass. He showed me how to clean fish, explained to me what it was all about. And my grandmother used to take me out to the berry gardens, and we'd pick raspberries and strawberries, blueberries out there. We had potatoes, vegetables. My grandfather had a good herd of cows. Just about everything we needed was out there. I remember that.
In the 1950s, the US and Canadian governments started a massive project to connect the Great Lakes with the Atlantic Ocean by widening and deepening the St. Lawrence River.
The seaway changed the geography of Akwesasne.
All the trees on the affected area must be cut down.
There was an apple orchard there, big apple orchard. The old man John owned that. And they said they were going to build a bridge across. They hadn't even consulted him until the equipment came up.
The seaway's locks and dams allowed giant container ships like these to navigate to the Great Lakes, and the dams supplied electricity, which the state of New York promised to sell to companies for cheap.
Every cent of expenditures will be recovered through toll charges and revenue from the sale of power. In the long run, it will cost the people of two nations nothing.
The press coverage focused exclusively on the benefits for Canadians and Americans, But there was a third nation whose people were affected.
A lot of our older people couldn't speak English. They couldn't understand why, how this could happen. How could a people do this? How could engineers do this? When the Seaway went through, they were informed. They weren't asked what they thought about this.
Power to run the machines, the motors, to light the signs, the homes. Supply energy for the 1,001 needs of an expanding economy.
There were 9 islands that were flooded. There used to be a bay inlet. It was a swampy area. They filled that in. They said, oh, we'll do you a favor. Well, what about the muskrats? What about the beaver? They're gone. They're gone now.
Thus man is conquering another of nature's challenges, moving the Atlantic Ocean to the entire mid-continent empire.
That's so messed up.
When the frogs start to come out and they start to make noise, that for me indicates that the water and the ground temperature is right to do the spearfishing. This is it. This is the magic spot. So much life happens here. When you enter the water, it's not really good to walk where the fish are doing their thing. That's their spawning bed. That's where they want to lay their eggs. So it's pretty precious space there. You got to be gentle and you got to be selective. Just recognizing, that it's a gift. You should just respect it, And just having that gratefulness that we're still able to do it. That's what I always get to them. We're so lucky. We're really, really lucky to have this. This is what I know. I'm the oldest son, so I have little brothers, and I teach them this stuff.
The Mohawk creation story says, at the beginning of time, the whole world was covered in water, and there was no land. That's when Sky Woman falls from the sky. She falls to the earth with a child in her belly. The ducks and the loons and the geese decided that they would try to help her from falling straight into the waters. In the end, it was the giant turtle who said that he could put the soil on his back, she could land on his back. And as she danced in the circle, as she shuffled her feet on the dirt, it expanded and expanded.
Our people give thanks to the water. They see it as an essential part of who we are.
New York's plan to lure industry upstate with cheap electricity, it worked. 2 major corporations, General Motors and Reynolds Metal, built factories in the mostly white town of Massena, right next to Akwesasne. According to the local newspaper, Massena's politicians and business leaders reacted with joy. But for the Mohawk of Akwesasne, the news meant something else entirely. Soon after the new factories opened in the late 50s, Mohawk farmers on Cornwall Island started to notice their calves weren't growing as well. Then the cattle started mysteriously dying off. Later, it turned out that 400 pounds of fluoride ash was spewing out of the new Reynolds plant every hour. Veterinarians discovered it had poisoned the grass and eroded the cows' teeth, making it too painful for them to eat or drink. They were starving.
If you look across the history of settler colonialism, in areas where indigenous people remained and still lived, corporations working under the laws of the United States were able to dump the most dangerous chemicals and pollutants there.
While I was in early practice doing home births here, there was a cluster of babies born.
That's so messed up. The world was created by dancing. That's a nice creation myth. Yep.
Baby born with an omphalocele, which is where the intestines grow outside the belly. Another was a baby born with no intestines at all.
Jesus.
And they had to let that baby die. As an anecdote, it still gives you a sense of where's this heading?
That is polychlorinated biphenyls, which are used in a wide variety of manufactured products.
PCBs started showing up in American news stories in the late 1960s, when they were discovered in salmon and poultry. At the time, there was just one manufacturer of PCBs in the US. Monsanto Company of St. Louis. They marketed the chemical under the name Aerochlor and sold it to other companies, who then used it to make products like shower curtains, paint, and electrical equipment, including the electrical equipment in those plants, the ones GM and Reynolds had built right next to Akwesasne. In 1971, a Monsanto representative told the New York Times that the company was studying the chemical's effects on rats and dogs. So far, they said, no ill effects had yet been detected, but Monsanto's internal documents from that time tell a different story. They knew that PCBs cause liver damage in rats. They knew that PCB exposure had sent workers to the hospital with symptoms of hepatitis. And in 1970, one of Monsanto's own studies on PCBs in fish showed that doses of PCB, which were believed to be okay, produced 100% kill. All the fish died.
Wow.
You know, eating a certain food isn't just putting the stuff in your mouth, it's what goes on all around that moment of consumption.
My mom would tell me stories about how my father and his family would have these like fish skinning competitions, and it makes me so happy to think about how that was in itself like a,
is what I usually use. Okay.
And family for each other and supported each other.
With really good friends or really good family members, we've known them for a long time. We trust them. We know that they respect our independence and our consent. In indigenous ways of understanding the world, we can use that way of thinking about relationships as a model. What would it mean to have relationships of trust with fish, relationships of reciprocity with a forest, for consent with a plant? Our community is not just the humans, but all of our interdependent relationships.
When we teach our children about giving thanks, that's what we're trying to do, is to get them to see that they're not just fish, but they're the fish. And these fish help us to maintain our life.
Hi, I'm Nicole Hockley from Sandy Hook Promise. I know this is hard to hear, but it's...
Oh, what?
In 1981, 2 pits full of PCB sludge were discovered behind the GM factory near Akwesasne, prompting scientists to start testing local wildlife. At the time, chickens with PCB concentrations of more than 5 parts per million couldn't be sold in supermarkets. But most of the fish in Akwesasne had levels much higher. 30 parts per million is considered toxic waste. Researchers tested one snapping turtle with a PCB concentration of 835 parts per million. It turned out, both GM and Reynolds had been dumping PCB waste into the St. Lawrence River
God dang
for
it.
decades.
We were just straight up
I'm gonna
told
get this right.
to
Hold
not
on.
eat fish, that we would die.
They were telling us that the tomatoes that were coming out of the garden shouldn't be eaten by children, so a lot of people just stopped farming altogether.
I remember talking to
There we
an
go.
older lady from the island here, and she actually burst into tears. And she said, when I go down to the shoreline to look for sweet flag, it's not there. I look for my sweetgrass, it's not there. What have they done to this place?
They destroyed it.
The plants, the animals, the ecosystems are thought of as part of the bonds, part of the friendships.
Thank you,
And imagine
Echo
if somebody
Dragon.
were
Thank you.
to take something that was really important to a friendship, a family relationship that you have, and just pollute it and just damage or destroy it. That hits us hard, right? That's devastating. But see, this is what Native people have been through with colonialism, a systematic, comprehensive destruction of all of those touchstones in our society, those environments that formed the contexts through which our best relationships unfolded.
We lost pieces of our language, of our value system with the river because of our disconnect, because of these fish advisories. And so right now I can't recommend people to consume fish because that's our policy. But personally, I'm like, we have to consume fish so we know their names and so we reconnect with them.
There was an existing relationship that they had with everything that the water system provided. It was part of their life. And it was taken away. It changed. All of a sudden, it wasn't there.
In the decades since PCBs were discovered, scientists documented the scope of the PCB problem outside of Akwesasne. People all over North America were told not to eat the fish from the rivers, streams, and lakes where they lived. Scientists also learned that PCBs can move from the soil into the air through a process called volatilization, which means that even if you don't live near a PCB dump, you can still be exposed through the air that you breathe. In 2013, the UN's International Agency for Researching Cancer stated officially, PCBs are carcinogenic to humans, and they are probably in the body of every human on Earth.
I can't do too much given our current reality.
That's
but I can
wild.
go out there in the morning and sing. Ahunte sa goyatizo, nyawa nyawa sa goyatizo. To be grateful.
PCBs, are those like the predecessors to what we're seeing? Like the forever chemicals?
You come from the ground up, right, and you give thanks to everything. Agwego aska, adida wakwe nuni ne ugwat nigula, and what day chinu alados ne kajoksu. The roots, the trees, the plants, or the skies, the winds, the stars. Ugwat nigula, one mind.
Ganja, ta ganjang de, asa ni ganjang de, kaya
A river has a right to community and to build community around itself. And I think a lot about how that's our responsibility as Ungguhua people to facilitate that.
There was a little boy ice fishing, and he was putting the fish in a big plastic bucket. And we saw him at the end of the day take his bucket and run home with it. And I wondered, what is his mother going to say when she sees all the fish her little son caught? She's going to be proud of him.
$648 million in damages. That's it. Absolutely gross. They're oily liquids or solids, clear to yellow in color and with no taste or smell. PCBs are very stable mixtures and resistant to extreme temperatures. Gotcha. Wow. Horrible. So I'm going to try to get through as much as is possible. Former President Trump allegedly had 700 pages of classified material in his possession, according to a May 10 letter from the National Archives to a lawyer representing Trump. The text of the letter was posted by conservative journalist John Solomon on Monday evening. The National Archives then posted a link to the letter of its FOIA website early afternoon. The 700 pages of classified information referenced were found in the 15 boxes that the archives retrieved from Mar-a-Lago in January. Trump had authorized Solomon as one of his liaisons to the National Archives to review the documents from his presidency. The posted version of the letter confirms ABC's news previously reporting that documents with the highest level of classification, including some labeled Special Access Program, were found. As the Department of Justice National Security Division explained to you on April 29th of 2022, there are important national security interests in the FBI and others in the intelligence community gaining access to these materials. According to the NARA, among the materials in the boxes are over 100 documents with classification markings compromising more than 700 pages. So again, this has been ongoing for months at a time. Fast forward to the yeah, wow is right. Fast forward. After this search warrant was executed, Trump had more than 300 classified documents. The National Archive found more than 150 sensitive documents when it got a first batch from the former president in January, helping to explain the Justice Department's urgent response. The initial batches of documents received by the National Archives from former President Trump in January included more than 150 marked as classified, a number that ignited intense concern in the Justice Department and helped trigger the criminal investigation that led FBI agents to swoop in Mar-a-Lago this month to seek more. In total, the government has recovered more than 300 documents with classified markings from Mr. Trump since he left office, the people said. That first batch of documents returned in January, another set returned in June, and now the material seized this month. The previously unreported volume of the sensitive material found in the former president's possession in January helps explain why the Justice Department moved so urgently to hunt down any further classified materials that he might have. The specified nature, this is important, and to the extent of to which such a large number of highly sensitive documents remained at Mar-a-Lago for months, even as the department sought to return all the materials that should have been left in government custody when Mr. Trump left office, suggested to officials that the former president or his aides have been cavalier in handling it or not fully forthcoming with investigations, or both, which possibly is grounds for obstruction. The specific nature of the sensitive material that Mr. Trump took from the White House remains unclear, but 15 of the boxes Mr. Trump turned over to the archives in January, nearly a year after he left office, including documents from the CIA, the National Security Agency, and the FBI spanning a variety of topics of national security interest, a person briefed on the matter. Mr. Trump went through the boxes himself in late 2021, or according to multiple people briefed on his efforts before returning them over. The highly sensitive nature of some of these materials prompted archive officials to refer the matter to the Justice Department, which within months had convened a grand jury investigation. Aides to Mr. Trump turned over dozens of additional sensitive documents during a visit to Mar-a-Lago by the Justice Department officials in early June. At the conclusion of the search this month, officials left with 26 boxes, including 11 sets of material marked as classified, compromising scores of additional documents, ones that had highest level of classification, top secret, slash sensitive, compartmented information. Yeah. The Justice Department investigation is continuing, suggesting that officials are not certain whether they have recovered all the presidential records that Mr. Trump took with him from the White House. Even as after the extraordinary decision by the FBI to execute a search warrant. Damn, notice the language being used here. Notice the language. To execute a search warrant at Mar-a-Lago on August 8th, investigators have sought additional surveillance footage from the club, people familiar with the matter said. It was a second such demand by the club's security tape, said the people familiar with the matter, and underscored the authorities are still scrutinizing how classified documents were handled by Trump and his staff before the search. Raid! Shadow Legends. No documentation has come to light confirming that Mr. Trump declassified material and the potential crimes cited by the Justice Department in seeking the search warrant would not hinge on the classification status of the documents, as I said before. Even if, as Tim tried to obfuscate that fact, even if he had declassified these documents, this had nothing to do with whether or not they were classified. Yeah, the raid emote. There you go. The National Archive officials spent much of 2021 trying to get back material from Mr. Trump after learning that roughly 24 boxes of presidential record material had been lingering in the White House residence for several months. Under the Presidential Records Act, all official material remains government property and has to be provided to the archives at the end of a president's term. Among the items that they knew were missing were Mr. Trump's original letters from the North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un and the note that President Obama left Trump before he left office. The two former White House officials who had been designated among Mr. Trump's representatives with the archives received calls and tried to facilitate the documents' return. Mr. Trump resisted those calls, describing the boxes of documents as mine. What? According to 3 advisors familiar with his comments. Anyways, yeah, the walls are slowly closing in on this guy, and there seems to be more and more evidence to suggest that this guy definitely had information that he shouldn't, had it for months, ignored numerous attempts by the National Archive to get these things back. And as I said, he believed that they're his, even though that's not how that works. And a lot of these documents are incredibly sensitive. Yeah. Gotta run. Damn, thanks for the stream. Catch you next time, y'all. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Justice Department issues new subpoena to National Archives for more January 6 documents. The Justice Department has issued a grand jury subpoena to the National Archives for more documents as part of its investigation into January 6th. The January 6th insurrection. Two sources familiar with the investigation tell CNN this latest subpoena issued on August 17th is in addition to the subpoena the Department of Justice sent to the archives earlier this year requesting the same documents and information that the archives had previously handed over to the House Select Committee. Damn. So more updates on that front too. We will continue to see what's going on with that one. A former cop pleads guilty to falsifying the warrant that led to Breonna Taylor's death. A former Louisville detective who helped write the warrant that led to the deadly police raid, has pleaded guilty to a federal conspiracy charge. Yep. Just another rogue cop, I guess. Federal investigators said Kelly Coldet added a false line to the warrant and later conspired with another detective, I guess another rogue cop, to create a cover story when Taylor's March 13, 2020 shooting death by police began gaining national attention. In other words, because this got so much attention, they had to attempt to coordinate a defense by falsifying information. Again, for being, as the person yesterday said, random cops. Damn, it seems to be a lot of them. Maybe it's not so random. Taylor, a 26-year-old black woman, was shot to death by officers who knocked down her door, a raid, while executing a drug search warrant. Taylor's boyfriend fired the shot that hit one of the officers as they came through the door and returned fire, striking Taylor multiple times. Godlet, a 35, appeared in a federal courtroom on Louisville on Tuesday and admitted to conspiring with another Louisville police officer to falsify the warrant. Godlet briefly answered several questions from federal judge Rebecca Jennings Grady. The three former Louisville officers were indicted on criminal civil rights charges this month by a federal grand jury. Goodlet was not indicted but charged in a federal information filing, which likely means the former detective is cooperating with investigators. Goodlet will be sentenced on November of 22. Grady said there may be extenuating circumstances that may move the court to push back the sentencing date. Part of the plea hearing was also kept under seal and not discussed in open court. She faces up to 5 years in prison for the conviction. 5 years only. Only 5 years for the falsifying of information that led to somebody's death. Falsifying information, attempting to protect another officer, conspiring to protect another officer, or I guess the department, which led to the death of somebody. Yeah. Nice. She resigned from the department on August 5th, the day after the U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland announced new federal charges in the Taylor case. She knew she was cooked. Former officers Joshua Janes and Kyle Maney were indicted on charges related to the warrant used to search Taylor's home. A third officer, Brett Hankinson, was charged with using excessive force when he retreated from Taylor's home and turned the corner and fired 10 shots to the side of her bedroom apartment. He was acquitted by a jury on a similar state charge earlier this year, and Janes, Meany, and Hankinson have all been fired. The three former officers face a maximum sentence of life in prison if convicted on the civil rights charge. Good. They led to the death of somebody. That seems appropriate. Good. So turning our attention to known climate scientist, an atmospheric expert, Herschel Walker. The Republican running for Senate in Georgia, who's running against Raphael Warnock. This is the Republican Party, folks. Rebuking new climate law, Herschel Walker asked, "Don't we have enough trees around here?" What? A Republican nominee for the Senate in Georgia blasted a new law that's aimed at fighting, part at fighting climate change, argued it will waste money on trees. What? What new law? They continue to try to fool you like they're helping you, but they're not, Walker said at a Republican Jewish Coalition event in Sandy Springs near Atlanta, days after President Biden signed, the Inflation Reduction Act. They're not, wait, is there a provision that's assigning, like, money to make more trees? And if so, that's good. They're not helping you because a lot of the money is going into trees. No, that's just a flat out lie. Among the other, add that to the list of the amount of lies that Herschel Walker, a Republican, has continued to perpetuate. We've got enough trees. Don't we have enough trees around here? What? What? Does that make any sense in any way, shape, or form? Will you get the chance to vote against him? Yes. Yes, and I will. And I will. Walker's remarks comes in response to a question about the measure were first reported by the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. The bill signed will raise about $700 billion through corporate tax increases and prescription drug savings, and spend $400 billion on clean energy and healthcare provisions. None of those none of those are trees. Walker stood by his remarks on Monday night. Yes, you heard me right. Biden and his Democratic opponent in November, Senator Raphael Warnock, are spending $1.5 billion on urban forestry. Urban forestry, by the way, if that's the case, if they're spending money on urban forestry, yes, that would limit yes, that would indeed help with climate change. Yes. And raising taxes on those under $200K to pay for it. That's not really true at all. Most of the taxes come from the wealthy and corporations. None of this is true. Here we go. Trees help cool urban areas, which means less energy used in air conditioning and better quality of life for city dwellers. In fact, Atlanta has the highest percentage of urban tree canopy. Ask the mayor why this is good for Atlanta. Learn something before talking. Yeah, well, that's the problem. He doesn't know. He doesn't understand any of this. He has absolutely no knowledge whatsoever about any of this, okay? Here's another good comment. Looking forward to your climate change plan. Maybe announce it at your next debate. The new law provides $1.5 billion in grants to state agencies and nonprofit organizations for tree planting and related activities. So if you want it, the grants are there. Will Kiley, a spokesperson for Walker's campaign, said in an email that Walker was commenting on how Raphael Warnock and Joe Biden spent billions of taxpayer dollars in a recession to do absolutely nothing to combat inflation and provide relief to hardworking Georgians. But that's not what he said. But that's not what he said at all. Yeah, good air, bad air, China, something about how air is good and bad and moves from one country to the next, I guess. Walker was endorsed by former President Trump, who largely dismissed climate change, but said the U.S. would join the World Economic Forum's initiative to plant and protect 1 trillion trees by 2030. In the final weeks of his presidency, Trump signed an executive order that established a 1 trillion tree interagency council. The close watch Senate race in Georgia is one of the several in which Republicans have nominated first-time candidates backed by Trump to run against seasoned Democratic politicians. Other races include Arizona, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Minority Leader Mitch McConnell said last week that he cited candidate quality when Republicans might not win control of the evenly split chamber in November. He did not name any specific candidates, but I think we have an idea. Anyways, Yeah, this guy has absolutely no idea what he's talking about whatsoever. And the fact that anyone would even vote for this guy is just wild. Like, this guy should be, like, laughed out of the room immediately. Not only that, he continuously lies about just about everything. So yes, 1.5 billion will go to grants to increase urban forestry, which is good for many reasons. Jury convicts Adam Fox and Barry Crofton Whitmer kidnapping plot. So the domestic terrorists have been convicted. They were convicted on all counts and face up to life in prison for the crimes they committed, for which they insisted was hatched by the FBI. Okay, buddy. Anyways. Far-right terrorists get convicted on all counts on the Governor Whitmer plot. He said about debate that people would be watching Sunday Night Football. The problem is the debate would be on Thursday. Oops. Yeah, like I said, he lies about just about everything. Like, you know that. Come on. Come on. It's hard to believe that you didn't know that. That you didn't know that the debate would be scheduled on Thursday. Because you would have had to know this, right? Like, okay. Sure, buddy. He's also lied about a bunch of stuff. So, I mean, he's a consistent liar. That's about as much as I can say about him. He says the most ridiculous divorce from reality statements. I'm not sure about his cognitive abilities. I mean, yeah, I don't know why anybody would vote for this guy. Europe facing its worst drought for 500 years. 47% of Europe is under warning conditions with clear deficit of soil moisture, European Drought Observatory says. This one's going to be a quick one. Europe is facing its worst drought in at least 500 years, with 2/3 of the continent in a state of alert or warning. The August report of European Drought Observatory, or the EDO, overseen by the European Commission, said that 47% of Europe is undergoing warning conditions as moisture in the soil dries out, and 17% of the region is on a state of alert as vegetation is affected. We saw the pictures of, like, that river in France. It's completely gone in sections. The severe drought affecting many regions in Europe since the beginning of the year has been further expanding and worsening as of early August. The report said that adding Western Europe Mediterranean region will likely to experience warmer and drier than normal conditions until November. That's 3 months, more or less. Much of Europe has faced weeks of baking temperatures this summer, which worsened the drought, caused wildfires, set off health warnings, and prompted calls to more action to tackle climate change. The current drought appeared to be the worst in at least 500 years, assuming the final data at the end of the season confirmed the preliminary assessment. Summer crops have suffered, with 2022 yields for grain maize set to be 16% lower, below the average of the previous 5 years, and soybean and sunflower seeds yields set to fall by 15% and 12% respectively. Some other pictures here. Yeah, to get an illustration of what is going on here. Sheesh. Look at that. That's the Rhine River. You've got people that are contributors to his campaign, and it's in this room that only two people gonna see it on a Sunday night. I think NFL football, I'm giving you an opportunity to be statewide so everybody can see what it is. See the contrast between the two of us. I don't know how you can ask for anything better. Nice. Thank you, Herschel. A wildfire burns in Albania. Nice. Jesus. La Viñuela Reservoir, Spain. Wildfire Girondes region. A burnt forest. Houseboats. Oh man. Wow. Yikes. Hydropower generation has been hit, with other power producers affected due to water shortages that feed the cooling systems. Low water levels have hampered inland shipping, such as along the Rhine River, with reduced shipping loads affecting coal and oil transport. Another reason why we need to get off this stuff. The EDO said mid-August rainfall may have alleviated conditions, but in some cases it had come a thunderstorm that caused further damage. The observatory's drought indicator is derived from measurement of precipitation, soil moisture, and a fraction of solar radiation absorbed by plants for photosynthesis. Wow. I have noticed as I like plants that some seem confused with blooming and stuff because of the weather changing. Oh yeah, I'm sure that throws them off. 100%. We've got a cute animal video. Redemption.
You know, real.
Hey. Thank you for that, James. We've got a cute animal video, Redemption, and we made it. We did all the articles that we needed to do, and we spent most of the time just dunking on Tim Pool.
I love you.
She's just such a talker.
See, I have to go to work.
Wow. Oh my god.
She's got a really growly voice.
Spicy
so
kitty.
A lot of people misinterpret her voice as she's upset, but it's just her meow.
Oh, I love you too.
And trolls too. Yeah, but I gotta provide some entertainment,
Growling
right?
is her love language, to put it simply.
It's not safe. You have to sit
Meow.
on your side. Can you sit on your side, please? Okay, good girl.
Everybody in my family knew it's just how she says I love you in her own weird way.
You like it? Yeah.
My grandparents had her for 15 years.
Aww.
They loved her more than anything in the world. Before my grandfather passed away, he was absolutely terrified of what would happen to Mackenzie. There was just no one that was able to take a grumpy, growly 14-year-old.
Yeah, we did have a few
By
today.
the grace of God, I was moving home for a job at the time, and I decided to live with my parents for just a couple months.
Is that yummy?
We were able to adopt her and get her settled.
Are you having fun on the beach?
She's happy there and she's thriving. That's all that matters to me. I was posting a lot of videos of Mackenzie on TikTok, and a lot of people were commenting how they were in our shoes. When their grandparents passed away, the animals went into a shelter. And while there's a lot of amazing shelters and organizations out there, there really wasn't a service
That's so
to
sad.
plan a home for your animal. I really quickly realized that this was something I could add to the world.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Angela. I'm the founder of My Grandfather's Cat.
We launched My Grandfather's Cat on my grandfather's birthday. My Grandfather's Cat helps seniors and terminally ill people find second forever homes for their pets before they move into retirement homes or pass away.
Aww.
In the past year, we have helped 45 animals in total. I was truly in awe that this worked.
Hi, friends. This chunk of love is Mr. Boar.
A senior called me up and said that he was moving into a retirement home and he had no idea what to do with his 14-year-old barn cat. So I drove out and I picked him up and he was this sweet,
Aww.
giant orange cat. I just kind of crumbled into my arms and I drove him to this home to drop him off, and they changed their mind, and here I was again on the side of the road with this giant lovable orange
A
cat.
cat tolerating a jacket without
So I
just
brought him to
collapsing
my
is the most
apartment for the
remarkable
night,
part. True.
and I decided I was going to foster him for a couple nights and let him settle.
So he stayed with me last night. And I gotta say, this is a unique experience.
We had an instant bond, and I called the senior and I just said, what would you think if I kept Bo? And he said, I would love for you to keep him. He seemed to love you instantly. That's how I got my sweet Mr. Bo.
Aww.
Every time I had a rough day, there he was, cuddled between my arms.
Do we think he missed me?
He gave me that level of love that I was trying to give to these seniors, and ended up being really beautiful and really helpful for me. The love a senior cat can give you is unmatched, and while all cats at any age deserve to be adopted and have loving homes, senior cats get overlooked, and there's no reason to. I'm very grateful. We've created a service to help seniors.
That's so cute. All right, one last one. Democrats hold 4-point leads over Republicans on generic congressional ballot. Yeah, but that's I don't know. That's too close on a generic ballot. But names on the ballots are, I would argue, play significantly too. Politico Morning Consult poll released on Wednesday found 46% of registered voters would choose Democratic candidate over it, compared to the 42% would choose a Republican if the election was held in their district today. 12% said they did not know or had no opinion. But this is massive though. This 12% makes or breaks it. Yeah. The poll is the latest, showing Democrats just outpacing the Republican counterparts on a generic congressional ballot. Another survey showed more respondents supporting the Democratic Party controlling Congress than the Republican Party. It's moving slightly in the better direction. But yeah, this just means that we need to act like the Democrats are like at -10. Okay, that's what we need to do. Pretend that like that they're behind 10 points or something. Maybe people should vote. That's true. I mean, polls give a pulse on what's going on, but I don't want people to get that overconfident. White House to announce student loan cancellation and payment pause extension on Wednesday. Yeah, they have those two options. They have those two options. The White House is expected to announce a plan on to cancel a chunk of student loan, which is the famous 10K, or an extension. I mean, honestly, the best thing that they could do is cancel debt. Stop. Just do it, man. Damn. Just do it. From like the Shia LaBeouf meme. Just do it. Hold on.
be dreams. Yesterday, you said tomorrow. So just do it! Make your dreams come true! Just do it! Some people dream of success while you're gonna wake up and work hard at it. Nothing is impossible. You should get to the point where anyone else would quit, and you're not gonna stop there. No, what are you waiting for? Do it!
There, all right? That's it. It says, in addition to an extension. Oh, okay. Wait, in addition. Hold on. Now it's me that can't read. All right, listen. The beanie's tightening on my head, so... The beanie's tightening in my head, all right? Vote harder. Yeah, well, if it's available to you, if the tool is available to you, you should use it, right? That's my argument. If the tool is available to you, you should do it, okay? Sources said the Biden intended measure will include at least $10,000 in loan forgiveness for borrowers who make less than $125 annually, as well as another payment freeze. The 10,000 figure would be the largest forgiveness federal student loan per individual to date. Or just do it, okay? Jesus Christ. If it's within his scope to eliminate student debt, and he does it, then we can assume that he can do more. So he should. Jesus. Half-ass freaking measures. That being said, I'm not going to say no to 10K. It's just frustrating, that's all. Yeah, it should just be cancellation for all. Do a debt jubilee for medical and student debt. Those two things should not be a thing. Student debt and medical debt shouldn't be a thing. And if Biden shows us, if Biden proves that he has the capability to do this, then the next step should be to just eliminate it. Like, if you have the authority, just do it. Jesus Christ. Unbelievably frustrating. Anyways, we'll see the announcement tomorrow, I bet. All right, folks, we're gonna do a couple of things before we head out. I will take it though. Yeah, of course, but like, why not? Why not just like go like further if you can, right? I mean, I don't understand. This is so frustrating. I will take it though. I don't know how much I have, but I didn't take much loan, so 10,000 will help me out quite a bit. But not a lot of people can say that. Yeah, I agree. All right, folks, really quickly, before we head on out, I got a couple of things. A, thank you to all the folks who are hanging out here. B, thank you so much for all the biddies. Thank you for the follows. And also, we got to do a shill sesh that I didn't do. So we'll do that now that my bot has reminded me before we go. Folks, if you are interested in supporting the channel and interested in this month's sponsor, consider checking out HelloFresh. HelloFresh has more 5-star reviews than any other meal kit, so you know you'll always get something delicious no matter what you choose. I gotta be honest, like I said, I've used HelloFresh multiple times. It's worked for me. With 50 weekly options, including a rotating selection of items at HelloFresh Market, there are plenty of delicious dishes, including veggie and vegan options to choose from no matter the occasion. With HelloFresh, step-by-step recipes are super easy, this is true, to follow, and pre-portioned ingredients help cut meal prep time and make cleanup a breeze, also true. Don't waste money on food you don't need. All HelloFresh recipes come with pre-portioned ingredients to make sure that you have just the right amount for each recipe. This is also true. It's pretty much easy. They give you the instruction. Most of the meals are, 20 minutes at most? 30 minutes? And you can get ranges from, easier meals to cook. You should check it out. Use code POG, HF475, to get up to 16 free meals, 3 surprise gift across the 6 HelloFresh boxes, plus free shipping on your first box. Consider clicking the link. Consider using !HelloFresh to get that link. It's also in the panels, and it does help out the channel. It's a twofer. The thing is, I get it. I get why student debt is a big issue because students are the active ones as they move into adulthood, but we're being honest, it's not the biggest thing holding Americans back. That award goes to housing, you'd imagine, and fixing housing surely is more universal than student loans, but yeah, it's not on the table for multiple reasons. Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. I mean, you start floating the idea of making or getting people housing. You don't want that. You don't want the idea of housing, of people being able to get housing floating around. You could not have that. But I do agree with you. There are, on the scale of issues, while student debt isn't the biggest of biggest issues, it certainly has a impact economically too. And if you were to just nanosnap, if you were to just nanosnap student debt and medical debt, that would be a huge economic booster. But that's neither here nor there. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Folks, if you enjoy the content, don't forget to hit the follow button. Spread the word far and wide that this is the chillest place to be for news and politics, Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Join us on the Discord. Head on over to our YouTube. Hit the big red subscribe button. And again, spread the word. Thank you guys so much for all the support. You guys are what makes this go. As always, please stay safe. Please take care of each other. I love you all, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. See ya. Bye. It becomes more of a qualitative discussion than quantitative. Yeah. But I mean, it still would have some type of impact. Certainly. I will say this. Imagine a country with all the resources as this one, giving people housing. Giving people food, housing, education, and healthcare. Damn. What a freaking concept. Imagine. Alright, folks, we're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See ya.